But today's conversation is not only about cardiology, it's about health, decisions, innovations, and the mindset required to build something.
I have not done one case independently. I assisted 7 cases, not done one case, independently. First case was a teacher, primary school teacher. He told, anyway I am going to die, just do 99% block. Everybody used to tell their patient that he is experimenting on your wrist and this is not good, and he is a good guy, but ask him to work from the groin and not from the wrist, this and that. But I had conviction that this procedure, one day this route will be in the guideline as class 1B.
I'm asking you this because I am very curious. Every remarkable journey has a starting point.
There was a reverse outsourcing of the technology or technique, whatever you say.
Right.
That we started teaching the Americans. I did several workshops there in New York and other places. And then once Americans started accepting it, the whole world started.
Welcome to another episode of Decoded at GLS with me, Dr. Chandni Kapadia. When people think about fame, they often picture actors, athletes, or people constantly in the spotlight. But every once in a while, you meet someone whose work happens quietly, far from headlines, yet touches thousands of lives. Our guest today has spent decades working with the most vital organ in the human body, the heart. In moments where minutes matter and decisions carry enormous weight, his work has helped reshape how cardiac care is practiced in India. He is the recipient of the Padma Shri and more recently the Padma Bhushan for his contribution to medicine and healthcare. But today's conversation is not only about cardiology, it's about health, decisions, innovations, and the mindset required to build something meaningful over a lifetime. And more importantly, what young people can learn from a profession where every choice truly matters. Dr. Tejas Patel, welcome to GLS.
Thank you.
Before we begin, I would like to say this. Not many people know the journey of saving lives of a cardiologist. You have years and decades of experience of doing that. People like us, most of us, we come to a cardiologist only when there is a problem with our heart. So today, it is our pleasure to have you at Decoded.
My pleasure too.
Before we start, there is something very basic I want to ask you, Tejas bhai. And I'm asking you this because I am very curious. Every remarkable journey has a starting point. What first drew you to the heart out of all organs in the body?
Yeah, that is a pretty interesting story. Since when I was a child, I precisely remember my father was a physician practicing in Ahmedabad. He was MD medicine. And when I was in 10th standard, the first qualified cardiologist, came to Ahmedabad for the practice, and he saw an ad in the newspaper, and then he pointed me out that this is the degree I want you to have, DM cardiology.
Oh, okay.
So, and he was a very tough taskmaster because I lost my mother when I was 5. So, my father's only goal was to create me into a doctor with difference.
Okay. So this was a goal that you had since you were a child. Wow, wonderful. You have performed thousands of life-saving procedures over the years. Do you still remember that first angioplasty that you did?
That is nearest to my heart actually, because when I had my degree of DM cardiology way back in 91, I was the first DM cardiology from Gujarat University. At that time, across the country, there were not many seats and there were not many institutions who used to conduct this course. So at that time, frankly speaking, I was not at all a trained cardiologist. I knew the subject as far as the literature is concerned and the clinical aspect of the subject is concerned. Because invasive cardiology was not at all known in this part of the world. Gujarat,
Oh,
all the
okay.
patients used to go either to Mumbai or Chennai.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows that.
Yes, yes.
And when I cleared it and I joined my parent institution, that is now it is UN Mehta Institute of Cardiology. At that time, it was Institute of Cardiology. There were two wings in the civil hospital. And my boss, Dr. Thakur B. Patel, was the professor, and I was the assistant professor. It was a very small team. And there were DM fellows working with us. So there was an very old, antiquated cath lab which was installed way back in late 70s, never used for 10 years. Hardly there was any use of that except for some very small procedures. And but I had one thing in my mind that if I own this degree, then I have to, perform accordingly, and I have to prove my worth, to hold this degree. So I discussed with my boss, who was one of the most kindest and generous bosses, anybody can have.
Oh,
He was very open. He was an old-time physician, and by virtue of his seniority and work, he was holding the charge of cardiology as a director of cardiology. So I told him that I want to develop the program. Okay, then he asked me, how are you going to do that? So at that time, I had an idea that I can line up the cases and we can invite visiting professors who are very renowned in the country for intervention work or invasive work, and I will learn with them. So as a part of it, we started with Dr. Satyavan Sharma. He was professor at Nair Hospital at that time, very renowned cardiologist, who came and who taught me how to do angiogram, that is diagnosis. When he came, we lined up 30-40 cases, and a couple of cases he did, and then he allowed me to do everything. So my confidence was boosted. Slowly we developed that program and valvuloplasty program, because balloon mitral valvuloplasty, the rheumatic heart disease, was pretty common at that time, which is not so now.
Right.
And I had one thing in my mind that, we have to develop a good coronary intervention program, angioplasty stent. At that time, stents were not there, only balloon angioplasty.
Correct.
So how to do that? So we invited, and Dr. Thakur B. Patel also had a wish. Dr. Sukumar Mehta was my surgical colleague. He was assistant professor in cardiac surgery. So we extended invitation to Dr. Girinath, the renowned cardiac surgeon then, and Dr. Samuel Matthew, a renowned interventional cardiologist. And both of them graciously agreed to come and help us. So 92 first time when they came, maybe in the month of January, February, I did 4 angioplasties. I assisted actually with Dr. Matthew. And again, he came in month of May. We did 3 more. I assisted. I was very new. And the setup was very basic setup. But still, there was a will to do. And in November, when Dr. Girinath came third time, Dr. Matthew could not come because of personal circumstances. And I lined up 3 cases at that time. So I thought I will cancel and I will postpone. I will call them next time, because I had not done one case independently. But Dr. Girinath asked me, don't you do it? I told, sir, I know the procedure, but I have never done it independently myself. He told
Oh.
that let us go and meet the patients.
Hmm.
Then he told that I am Dr. Girinath. This young cardiologist will perform the procedure on you one by one. And if there is any complication, I'll take care of you. I will do bypass surgery in emergency. But allow him to do. And I also told that I have all three patients that I have assisted 7 cases, not done one case, independently. So, but everybody told in any case we are suffering so much. What? And the first case was a teacher, primary school teacher from deep interior of Gir, Talala, a small village.
You still remember
Yeah,
it, of
yeah, yeah. The
course.
name of the patient also I remember. He was Bhavan Bhai. He
Wow.
told, anyway, I am going to die. Just do 99% block. The
Wow.
first case, Dr. Girinath stood behind me. Somehow, beginner's luck, everything went on well. Second case went on well. Third case went on well. I don't take any credit on me. It was simply the beginner's luck, and probably the universe was conspiring that there has to
Yes.
be a program
Yes.
in this part of the world, Gujarat.
Hmm.
So, 3 cases, I was very happy. And at that, in the same evening, Dr. Girinath invited the press and told that this is the beginning of a great program
A
in the
new
state of
era.
Gujarat, a new era. And I can see through that this will eventually be one of the top class program.
I.
See, for the first time, any cardiac surgeon of this country helped a young, brand new cardiologist to give boost to his career.
But
That is how this thing started.
Tejas bhai, like you said, right? It was the whole universe that was conspiring
Yes,
to have you at a certain level in life. And I think where there is a will, there is a
that is
way.
the way. That's right.
So that's exactly, and it's so inspiring to know that someone like at your stature also gives so much credit to his people who have helped, made you the person that you are today. But I truly feel that when your heart is in the right place, everything falls apart, falls into place. So I think that is what has happened for you.
That's right.
Wonderful. It's so touching to know. Um, that brings me to my next question. At a time when many cardiologists were still skeptical, you pioneered angioplasty through the wrist artery. What gave you the conviction to pursue something that was still not mainstream?
Yeah, it's a great question. And let me tell you that the program started at Institute in 92. Eventually, by 94, 95, I had brief trainings in US as well as France for advanced training of stent. And in US, I went for advanced training of complex intervention. In France, I was scrubbing, but in US, I was an observer. But it was a very enriching experience. And the program actually started like this. Roger Coletti, one of the top interventionalists of US at St. Joseph's Institute, Patterson, New Jersey, after my 3 months training, he asked me, how are you going to develop your program? I told, I don't know, but I have learnt everything, and I'm sure that I will make sure that it doesn't go waste. It will be useful and helpful to my people. But that is what you wish, but how, what is the further plan? I told I have to request my boss to get some inventory. It's, at that time it was very expensive.
Sure, of course.
And let us see, he can use his good offices in the government, and we will try to procure. It is going to take time. So he told me, okay, I have a surprise for you, let's go. And he took me to his office. He was a practicing interventionalist, but amongst 40 interventional cardiologists working there, he was top and one of the most well known in US at that point of time. And he showed me 4 big boxes, almost 75 to 80 balloons, equal number of guide wires, equal number of guide catheters. So practically everything what I need to perform many cases of intervention. And he told, this is my gift to your people.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
he donated. Now, the problem was how to bring them to India. But there, my boss helped me. He had influence in the government, and he convinced, the chief minister then that this is for the poor people. We are going to work, and we could get them through the custom, and that is how a big program started. So by 95, we were on very strong footing, and I was 95, 96. I was known not only in the country but in the world for certain procedure, that is balloon mitral valvuloplasty. We had big series. As far as the intervention angioplasty is concerned, we used to do 250 to 300 cases a year, 95, 96. But I was not being noticed. The senior few interventionalists, whenever we meet in the courses or conferences, they used to every time tell, Tejas, good, you are doing good balloon mitral valvuloplasty. Nobody acknowledged my coronary intervention work.
Oh.
So then I had to change my gear. Then I came to private practice in 97, working in one hospital, second, third. This place, Apex Heart Institute, we started in 2012, 15th
yes.
of August.
Yes.
Before that, I used to work for other hospitals. So this thing, was not giving me good feeling, that why the work is not being noticed, despite, being almost like number 3, number 4, number 5 in the country. So in 96, I was invited to US for Chicago balloon mitral valvuloplasty course on a faculty by a very prominent interventionalist then. I went there. I was representing India, and at the same time, Dr. Shigeru Saito and Dr. Inoue, who invented that balloon valvuloplasty, they were representing Japan. We were the only 3 guys from Asia.
Wow.
There, it was a meeting of 150 guys invited, cherry-picked from across the globe.
Wow.
So naturally, you see, Asians each other.
I was
So
just gonna-
we had good friendship. And next year, after a couple of years, Dr. Saito invited me to Kamakura, Japan, as on faculty. And there I saw him working on small, tiny Japanese population through the wrist. He learnt it from somewhere. It was just beginning.
In the nascent.
Just beginning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the procedure was not at all appreciated because it used to give a lot of pain, this, that, and a lot of discomfort to the patient, and there were no data. But I thought at that time that if I accomplish this procedure through the wrist, at least people will notice my work, because I will be the only one in the country to do that.
Yes.
And amongst very few in the world. So I quietly started doing it when I came to another new hospital in this part in Ahmedabad, and I invited Dr. Saito. But before I invited him for 5 days, I was ready with my problems by doing 100 cases.
You already finished 100 cases?
Yes, with lot of difficulty, this and that, but I was ready with my problem. And that time, we lined up some 70, 80 procedures and we did it. So then I was pretty confident.
Wow.
But there was tremendous resistance from the doctor fraternity, not only cardiologists, physicians. Everybody used to tell their patient that, he's experimenting on your wrist and this is not good, and he's a good guy, but ask him to work from the groin and not from the wrist, this and that. But I had conviction that this procedure, one day this route will be in the guideline as class 1 indication, because it is unbelievable. You don't collect the blood here, no other complication. Here you lose the patient because of the local complication. This should not happen.
There are a lot of organs around here, right?
And there are other issues, anatomical issues. So it is easy to work from the groin. It is very difficult to work from the wrist, particularly at that point of time.
Okay.
But if you do it, the complications were very less with this
Okay.
So I went on doing, and I used to tell the patient, "Ki if I work on you, I will work through the wrist. Otherwise, everybody is good. You go wherever you want." And let me tell you, my patients stood by me. They told, "Okay, doc, you feel
Wonderful.
that this is good for me, you do." Not one patient, denied. And I was also simply keeping quiet and listening to all the criticism. Criticism was not only from Ahmedabad or Gujarat, but slowly from this region, Western India, and then from across the country. Okay, there is one guy who is very crazy, and he is working through the wrist, and he is ruining, so many patients. After I completed 5,000 procedures, I raised my head. Then I had highest experience in the world.
Correct, correct.
And then I developed and started developing the evidence base. And we were knowing exactly what is going on. And then in 2006, I wrote the first book on it. And
Oh,
the
okay.
Patel's Atlas of Transradial Intervention, the basics, published from US. And that book became, a sort of household book for every cath lab, not only, in India, but in US
Across
and
the
everywhere.
world.
And there was a reverse outsourcing of the technology or technique, whatever you say,
Right.
that we started teaching the Americans.
Wow.
I was invited
Wonderful. I
there to
love
do the
that.
case. And at that time in US, it was not known. And I did several workshops there in New York and other places. And then once Americans started accepting it, the whole world started. There is a misbelief. People, many of my patients and many people, they feel that radial, I am the inventor, I am the pioneer. No, it is not true. First angiogram was done by a Canadian cardiologist, Dr. Campu, way back in 89, but then he stopped, did couple of procedures, just he showed that this is the root. Then in 94, Ferdinand Kimney from Netherlands did first angioplasty through this route,
Okay.
but route never used to become popular because it was difficult anatomically, small artery, the big instruments, and not radial specific instrument. My contribution is in this field is to make it simple and easy for even a beginner. And that is why people know me for this procedure. And I
And it's
trained
safe.
more than 8,000 cardiologists
Wow.
through my courses, that is transcatheter intervention course. Every year we do live cases from here to Nirma Auditorium. We show almost 400 plus people are sitting there. And I have done workshops in almost 32 countries, including most of the European countries, US, and everywhere except for the South America. That's all.
Wow.
China, everywhere. So this is my contribution, and that is how the radial became popular. And now you see in guideline it is class 1. In India, the uptake is more than 75%. In US, more than 75%. In certain European countries, in Japan, more than 80-90%.
Wow. So it's your conviction and your patience
Yes.
that has put this on the world, ma'am. It's so brilliant.
It was simply my conviction and resilience to the adverse situation.
Correct.
These two ingredients made me
What you are
achieve
today.
this target.
Yes. So when our students and when our audience watches this, this is something that they have to learn from you. It is so inspiring. It really is. There was also a stage in your career when you could have joined large global institutions, like you said. But instead, you chose Ahmedabad. You chose to build Apex Institute. What made you take that path?
Again, creation of Apex Heart Institute is not by design, let me tell you. Working with several institutions, in the city and in the state of Gujarat, I was actually pushed in the corner.
Yes,
Because
you mentioned that, yes.
I do my best for my patients, but somehow I was feeling that I am not able to do whatever I want to do.
You're
Because
not
there
giving
are
them
always
justice.
typical restrictions
Yes,
and
yes.
certain sort of what you say.
There's always resistance to newness, no?
And
It's there in
that is
every
one,
field.
and secondly, corporate management resistance.
Correct.
Yeah. And
Correct.
that is the reason why I thought that it's a good idea that we can start a boutique institute, and there whatever we want to practice, any new technology or anything new coming in the world, we should be one of the first to practice. And once we learn it, we dissipate the knowledge to the young generation.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, Tejas bhai, take us back to that day for a second. In 2018, you're sitting inside Akshardham Temple in
Yes.
Gandhinagar. Your patients are 32 kilometers away here at
Yes.
Apex, and the robotic system is ready to go. What was going through your mind in that time?
This was a distant tele-robotic coronary intervention
Yes.
project. There is again a history. I thought of doing something new, and at that time I saw that in the medical science in this field, robo has already entered and it is occupying a very niche space in certain areas of medicine and surgery. So I thought, why not we develop a database and we can evidence base for the robotic intervention for coronary arteries. It was a very basic machine from a small American company, Corindus, and there was no installation outside US. There were few in
Okay.
US.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
I
this.
was the first one to buy
Wow.
Robo.
Wow.
And I was not sure whether I am, the money I am spending is worth or not. But again, I had conviction that someday it should click, because in whichever field Robo has entered, it has been able to create its space.
So it's been your self belief. Your self belief has got you
Yes.
here.
So I bought it, and I was again considered crazy, like every time. That what
But
is he
the
doing?
brilliance is always considered crazy.
I don't know that, but we started developing and we started doing the cases, and let me tell you, it was very expensive hardware every time when I used
I'm sure.
but I didn't charge 1 rupee extra to the patients. I was telling that I'm going to perform robotic coronary intervention, and that is how I collected almost, I did 500 cases, and I became number one robo operator in the world.
Oh, wow.
So the CEO of the company flew from US to India, and we had a dinner meeting. He saw the setup, and then in the evening he told me that, Tejas, we have a great futuristic product we have developed, but nobody is ready
To use it.
to adopt it.
Right.
What is that? Like a distant tele-robotic. You sit and use the internet bandwidth, and with the joysticks you fix the patient's block, which is connected to robo in your cath lab, and you are away from it.
Wow.
I told, then why not India? Okay, we don't get permission anywhere, and I'm thinking of getting it done through some unregulated country like Venezuela or something. No, you come, we will do from Apex. Why not? Okay, how are you going to get the permission? I told, we will try and we'll get it. And there, our Honorable Prime Minister, I put a message, and he helped. He told what is the risk to the patient. I told zero risk. If the connection I miss immediately, my partner Dr. Sanjay Shah, who is so senior, will take over. So there is no risk to the patient. Okay,
So
why
there
don't
is
you go ahead?
someone even with the patient at that time?
Of course, the patient is in the care lab. I tell you, if supposing somebody is a patient, and if I am traveling,
Right.
I am in US or in Europe or some remote place,
Yes.
and if patient insists that I want the procedure to be done by Tejas Patel.
Right.
Second situation I give you, think hypothetical situations. Think of our army man, Jawan, who is at 15,000 feet and
Correct,
develops
correct.
heart attack.
Huh,
There is a small cath lab in the command hospital. There are people, but nobody,
Knows how to do
is
the
accomplished to
surgery.
do that. Third thing, like there are so many underprivileged areas in this country
Correct.
where no senior person wants to go,
Yes.
and patient comes with the heart attack. So this, they deserve good treatment.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I thought that let me take up this project. If it works out well, that in future, because underprivileged areas are not restricted to India. Even they are there in US or any
Everywhere, across
European
the
country.
globe, yeah.
So it can be a great boon for the patients
Yes.
across the globe.
Yes.
So that is how, and with difficulty we got all the permissions, required legal permissions. Then from where to do, because the distance was 30-35 kilometers. That was at this time decided.
Yes.
And this was the first proof of the principle study
Yes.
coming out from India
Yes.
for any cardiac procedure. Like if you see first coronary angioplasty, Andreas Gunzig, Switzerland, first stent, so Jack Puel or the Ulrich Sigward, one in France, one in Switzerland, or bypass surgery, United States, heart transplant, South Africa, nothing from India. First in man, proof of principle, first in human study. Wow. So I thought that can bring a lot of glory for my country.
Yes, you make
But
it.
there was a risk. And then, there was a wish that it should be done from some place of national significance or importance.
Sure, sure.
So that is how, we chose Akshardham.
Yes, of course.
And I was consented because Pujya Pramukh Swami and Pujya Mahan Swami, I have treated them for many years and all the saints of that sect. So I was welcomed with, very, very warm welcome I was given.
You even dedicated that first surgery.
But again, there was a problem that in US, the engineers and all those people, they were quite skeptical that from temple, what are you talking? So that was the question, raised by even the CEO. I told, ask your technical guys to visit once and see. And they came, and the saints over there in Gandhinagar Akshardham, somebody is, qualified from Stanford, somebody from MIT, somebody is from Harvard.
Correct.
And last, when we were supposed to do, those American engineers, they were not able to fix certain problems which these saints fixed.
Wow.
And set everything rolling.
This just goes to show that Indians are no less.
Yes.
And even our saints.
Yeah, yes. And that is how this 5 cases. But this gives me tremendous joy, but equally deep pain, because the project in COVID time, the whole company was bought over by another international giant, and somehow, because of whatever, they shelved the project. So at this point of time,
it's not
the whole work, of course, it has been written, it has been published in Lancet. So anybody who does, the first reference they have to quote is mine. Now one Chinese company and one French company, they are working on a different type of robo project, and let us see what happens. But someday this is going to happen.
And I wish it is you who starts that again very, very soon. I really, really wish that. Moving on to our next question. You've always been the someone, according to our talks, you've always pushed boundaries of technology in medicine. But medicine is also deeply human. How do you make sure technology enhances care without replacing the human touch?
Human touch, there is no replacement for human touch.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
And this thing, any new fellow or any new colleague who is joining me, and the fellows, they rotate every 3 years, they change. I ask them, even in the cath lab, which is the most sensitive area for us, because there is a very narrow line of demarcation between life and death when we are
Of
working.
course, of course.
When I ask them that, what do you think? What are the ingredients you expect to become a very accomplished interventional cardiologist? So everybody will say the knowledge and the skill and this and that and everything. And then I always tell them that first and last thing, which is the most important ingredient, is you have to be a good human being.
Yeah, empathy, I think.
Yes, you have to be a
You
good
have
human
to.
being. Otherwise, we see in the contemporary world, we see
Yes,
the technology going to wrong hands.
yes,
What happens?
yes, yes, I
And
agree.
technology going to right hands.
Yes.
What can happen?
Correct, correct, correct. I think if we as people are just empathetic, and I think good human beings, wherever they are needed in any sector, in any, whether it's technology, whether it's medicine. Okay, if we look 20 years ahead, what do you think will transform cardiology the most? Robotics, artificial intelligence, or genetics?
Great question. This, I think you are quite well informed and you have done a lot of deep study.
Yes.
The treatment, whatever, like medical treatment, if you see, the drugs and everything, we were targeting the enzymes to start with. Then the whole gear shifted to genetics. So you target a particular gene and you treat, and the things are cured, or you make it, you can make it off or on accordingly, whatever is needed. But the whole paradigm shift now, if you see, the focus is going from enzyme target to gene target to now the genome targeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
for a layman, can you just please explain? Because
Everybody has cells, and cell has got particular areas, nucleus, cytoplasm, everything, mitochondria, and there are genes, chromosomes. If you
yes,
put them in one line,
yes,
you will get the whole genome. 3.2 million small nucleotides are there.
wow,
There are 22 to 25,000 genes on
okay,
that genome, and rest of the area is a non-coding region, coding and non-coding, exome and intron.
okay,
And on this, there are expressions for every single disease or every single major or minor diseases, and you have to find. The work is still on,
wow.
and we are not even halfway in the world.
And I thought coding is only in computers and software.
No, 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 no. So you can treat, there are treatments like small interfering RNA. You create it, it goes inside the cytoplasm, it fixes that area which is a nuisance area on the gene.
Okay, okay.
That is single nucleotide variation or single nucleotide polymorphism. These are heavy words.
Yeah.
And you can halt the process, you can reverse it. There are other techniques, you can technology, you can go straight inside the nucleus and target them with Casper, Cas Casper technology, or even antisense oligonucleotide technology. And let me tell you, now I am officially announcing here, we have already registered the first of its kind in Asia, the Apex Institute for Personalized Medicine.
Cardiology is a field where the margin for error is extremely small. How do you carry that weight every day?
Yeah, that is a part of my profession. And if I want to be an interventional cardiologist, I can't complain of all these things. And if I want to be an accomplished interventional cardiologist, then I should be ready to do any sort of complicated stuff which can help the patient, even if the
Sure.
percentage is small. And I should be ready to face failure and come out of the failure very fast.
So you
The
have
effect
that
of failure.
courage. You have that
Of
courage,
course.
and you have made peace with that. That not all outcomes will be great all the time. Wow. India unfortunately carries one of the highest burdens of heart disease in the world. What are we still getting fundamentally wrong about heart health?
The basic problem, again, if you think, the answer will boil down at the genetic level.
Acha, okay.
Yes. There are many risk factors. Many of them are modifiable risk factors, many of them are partially modifiable risk factors, but one risk factor which is absolutely non modifiable is the genetic factor. You have
Okay.
some control over choosing your spouse, but no control over choosing your parents. So
Correct.
the defective genes which you acquire from your parents and forefathers,
Right, right.
they will be there and they will be expressed that way.
Right, right. So someone with diabetes in parents, and
Yes,
therefore we say diabetes, blood
absolutely.
pressure.
Yes, yes.
Wow, wow. So let's talk about our students for a moment, or even young professionals. Late nights, stress. What would you suggest to them? What kind of a healthy lifestyle? We say, is there anything called healthy lifestyle?
I think, see, during your formative years when you are studying, how much you try to keep your lifestyle healthy, it doesn't remain
Correct.
because you have absolutely no control over the time and you go on working round the clock. I think we used to work that way 48, 72 hours in one go, this and that, you become remain irritable, everything. You have very inadequate sleep, inadequate food, all those things. But once you come out of that, then my advice to the young cardiologist or any young doctor will be, you have to have some time spared for yourself. It means you remain with yourself, you spend good time to keep your health intact, cardio, resistance training, combination, and uh, ideally, every normal doctor should also learn the basics of pranayam and certain asanas if they can do.
Right.
Ideally,
Yoga.
if you can understand and learn meditation, I think that is something which helps you the most. Unfortunately, I used to practice all yogic asanas, pranayam, bandh, mudra, everything. But before 5 years, one yogi taught me the meditation hard way, and now I practice it, and now I can really feel the difference. How
Okay.
to this is a great cleansing mechanism of your mind.
Wow. So it's yoga and whatever you
Yes.
do, right?
But you have to physically also exercise to burn the calories
Sure.
and try to restrict your calories, and if you eat, you make sure your portions are correct as far as the distribution of protein, carbohydrate and fat is
I was just
concerned.
going to come to that. We are foodies. Ahmedabad, it's all about food, especially desserts. Like someone like me, I need my chocolates, I need my cake. So, what do we do if we have a sweet tooth?
It is hard to believe that you are so foodie because I think you have kept yourself very well. It means you must be exercising and
Thank you, sir.
you are
But
trying to maintain it. Fine. If you are burning calorie, in little bit of indulgence is still all right.
okay, okay. So, you believe in cheat meals.
Yes.
Um, at GLS, we don't have medicine as a discipline. Our students come from fields like management, design, law, um, but they will eventually build organizations, companies, and careers. In your job, in your work, you have a lot of stress. You make important decisions. Um, from your profession, what do you think young people can learn? How do they handle pressure?
I think one has to develop that mindset. And
Okay,
as I told
mindset.
you, one has to develop resilience and frustration withstanding capacity. Because
Correct.
without developing that, you cannot progress. And I hate anybody complaining to me about this and that. If I had this, I could have done this, I had this. No. If you want to do from whatever you have, how can you make the best out of it? That is what you should be doing rather than simply complaining about.
When life throws lemons, make lemon water. No? That's
Yes.
exactly. And I think it's an everyday practice how
Yeah.
to. I completely agree with you, Tejas Bhai. People today often fear failure a lot. In a field like yours, you must have had that as well. When the stakes are so high, you've had that. How do you personally deal with those setbacks?
Good. Initially, as a young interventional cardiologist, there is something, as I told you before, something like beginner's luck, and you get good results and you start feeling at the top of the world. And the moment you have that feeling for a little bit longer time, again the universe will conspire to keep you grounded. You will
Yes,
encounter several complications
yes,
which will shake you.
I agree. I
So
agree.
that used to happen with me. And then I realized one thing, and that my father always used to tell, because every day I go home, I used to discuss with him, and I used to tell that, I'm very upset. This patient, for no reason, it was a simple case, got complicated, and I lost him, or I created a big complication, and I cannot forget that. I can't forgive myself. And he used to tell that. And sometimes I used to tell, okay, great, everything is going great, and since I'm very happy. So he used to teach me one thing always, that don't be so happy when everything is going good, and don't be so disturbed when the things are
Yes.
not going as per your wish. So try to maintain that balance.
Balance.
Yes.
Yes.
And then he always used to tell that you are an instrument. So think that something like
Some
superpower
divine. Yes.
is guiding your hands and your mind to perform the procedure.
Yes.
The result you dedicate to the superpower. The may it be failure or may it be success.
Correct.
Somehow I have been able to do it successfully.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So if in my low period I can come out very fast, and when the period is going great guns, I
You never let
control.
it get to your head.
Consciously control my emotions and
Correct.
don't try to make them
Yes.
just bubble.
So stay grounded is your
Absolutely,
advice to
yes.
students. Wonderful. Outside the hospital and the cath lab, what does life look for you? What do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
Only being with myself and my family. And
Ah,
I have, exercise is my passion, meditation is my passion. I have few friends in this city, in this country, and in this world, everywhere, and I maintain relation with them. And I don't like to socialize too much. See, and you won't find me in many parties or
parties.
page three groups. No. Instead, I like to go home, have my simple food. I like to read, and I like to spend time with my family.
They say intelligent people don't socialize much because they have so much intellect that normal people don't understand. And you are one huge example of that, honestly.
I don't consider myself
No, but you are.
intelligent. I
We.
mean, with very high IQ. And this is again, let me tell you that if you want to be a good or accomplished doctor, you don't need high IQ. You need reasonable IQ
But you need a good
dedication,
heart.
and commitment towards your profession.
Absolutely. But that's for anything, any profession. If you have these qualities, so we don't have, like I said, we don't have medical students, but the qualities that you just mentioned in any discipline, that
Yes.
is the key. Okay. When someone spends decades literally working with people's hearts, I imagine it changes the way you look at life itself. Has this profession changed your philosophy about time, priorities, or what really matters?
It's a great question because here sometimes I find myself deficient. I dedicate my time so much to my profession that sometimes I feel that I do injustice to my family and my friends also. Yeah, but I have no choice, or again I am pushed in a corner, and too
Sure,
much of popularity and too much of success. I realize that it is not blessings; it is curse, because
at times.
you don't remain yourself wherever you go. People know you and people want to talk to you, and
Sure,
your personal life really suffers.
sure, sure. Tejas bhai, I would like to ask you a last question. GLS has always been about building people who are ready for the real world. That's been our president, Sri Sudhir Nanavati sir, because of whom I've had the
Yes.
opportunity to meet you as well. You've lived the real world in its most demanding forms, what you were just telling me earlier. So, where do you stand? Why have you given your time and your name to a university like GLS? And honestly, what does this institution mean to you?
See, uh, I admire Mr. Sudhir Nanavati and the whole family because I know Mrs. Nanavati, Devang Bhai, Vaibhavi Ben, everybody.
Yes,
It's a wonderful family who
yes,
has been known for the social work and
yes.
lot of other social activity. And when Sudhir Bhai asked me, I could not say no, but sometimes I again feel guilty that I am not able to, contribute actively to the organization. And I sometimes feel that my sitting on the governing board, whether it is worth it or not.
No, it absolutely is, sir. You inspire so much. Just this talk with you has been so inspirational, and when the students hear you, I'm sure they will be wanting more. And you are contributing. Just your name on our board is enough. All right, I said I will ask you one last question, but this is a ritual that we do at GLS. Um, we never skip that at Decoded. So, if you had to define GLS in one word or in one line, what would it be? Or how would you feel about this chat that we just had today?
This was a wonderful chat. And GLS is a university, an organization which just from GLS school has grown huge,
Yes,
and it has the national reputation at
yes.
this point of time. And
And international
of
reputation.
course the reputation has gone beyond the boundaries of this country.
Yes.
I wish and I pray that it becomes amongst 1, 2, and 3 university in the country known for its unique work. Not like institute of national importance or national significance. I envisage envision GLS as institute with difference.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And with that, I would conclude this session. And thank you, Dr.
My
Tejas
pleasure
Patel.
and my honor
Thank you
as
so much
always.
for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
Thank you.